So, Howard, this is really an opportunity to tell aspects of your story, and it's something we know that you tell, you share a fair amount. You've made a decision to share the story with students, with community members of all sorts. Can you talk a little bit about why you've chosen to share the story in the way you do now?
Well, I realized what a horrible disease hatred is, and hatred brought this all about, and people are still suffering because they're hated for the way they were, the way they look, the color of the skin, and most people don't have an idea why they're being hated, because they had nothing to do with it. We have no choice where we're being born, and we have no choice. Mostly the way we have a choice the way we live. I mean, it's the most important thing is what you do in between when you're born and when you die. So that's the only choice you have. And if you, I want to make it everybody that I can, everybody that listens to me, I want them to be just a little bit more forthcoming and a little bit more loving and a little bit more helpful to the next human being. And if I do that, I think my suffering wasn't in vain.
And as you tell the story, I know one thing you'll often remind people of is the importance to remember what happened in the war, to never forget the atrocities. Can you talk some about that, why you see that so important?
That's so important because it's something that what I went through, and I'll never forget in my life. I mean, it's some atrocities that are not normal for human beings to go through. I mean, seeing your family killed and seeing your relatives killed. I mean, it's something that it affected some people in a different way. It affected maybe older people in a different way. I mean, maybe I was too young. It didn't affect me too much. So I suppose I can say I'm lucky that way, that I still love human beings. I still love to help people, and I still love to accommodate people, and I'm very thankful for that.
I think sometimes I wonder, and I imagine you do too, is how did you survive? How did you persevere?
That's one question I cannot answer because I don't know how. I mean, if I would have been here, if I would have been there, if I would have been going there. I mean, I just don't know how I survived. I mean, there were quite a few times that I thought I wasn't going to survive. I survived. I don't know. Maybe somebody upstairs was watching out for me. I don't know. I still would like to ask him upstairs why I survived. Why not my mother? Why not my sisters? Why not my grandparents? Why not my uncles? Why did it choose me to survive? Because I don't think I was any better, or I'm any better than my relatives, family that didn't survive. I don't know. It's one question I cannot answer because I just don't know how.
Yeah.
This year's Franciscan value is really about showing compassion. And in the Franciscan tradition, showing compassion is about being with people in their pain and walking with them and turning that into a positive experience. What have you learned in your life about showing compassion, and what is it that you try to teach people about that?
Well, after the war, I never met a person that I didn't like, because I figured any person, especially when I came to the United States, I figured every person was a nice person. And if that person wasn't nice to me, I just didn't have anything to do with it. If the person was nice to me, I turned out to be nice to him. And I never had any problems with people when I was in the service or when I was in business for some years afterwards. I never had any problems with people. I meet people that I've known for maybe 30, 40 years that were business customers or associates, and when we meet now, we hug each other and we look at each other and say, "You look old, you look gray," or you look... So it's, I mean, life has been wonderful to me. It's been wonderful to my family. It's been, you know, when I awoke on May 2nd, 1942, when all the German soldiers and all the dogs disappeared in the night, and I was liberated by the American troops in the afternoon. But when I awoke on May 2nd, covered with 2 inches of snow close to the Holy Mountains, if I could have written my own future, I don't think I could have done a better job, because life has just been wonderful. It's, I never thought I would have such a wonderful life afterwards. And I'm really thankful for my family and the people that were associated with me, now associated with me, and now with this honor that I'm getting, and the people associated with the university. I'm so thankful. I don't know what I could say, because I think I'm going through a section in my life that I never expected to have, being so wonderful and being so nice, and it's not too many people have this honor, have this wonderful feeling of being wanted, of being honored. It's 1 in 1,000 or 1 maybe in a million people that have that. So I can't thank the university more than I don't know what to say or what to. I mean, it's great. It's probably more than great.
I've had the privilege of hearing you tell your story on multiple occasions, and during those times, and even now today, you keep talking. One of the themes is how good people are and how good life is. Yet at the same time, in your younger years, you experienced the worst of humanity and the worst that life can offer. Could you talk about how you've come to see the goodness in the world and the goodness of humanity in light of everything that you've experienced?
Yeah, well, I mostly talk to young people, and I know young people are the future of our world. I mean, this is our our future. I mean, and I want them to be a little bit more helpful to their peers and to their families, and and I keep getting letters from students how it affected them, and it made them look a little better, it made them act a little better, and that makes me feel good, because there's some people going around and preaching hatred, preaching intolerance, and if I could just counter their messages a little bit, I mean, I could, I think, I mean, I tell the students that we're all born the same and we all die the same, and You know, I listened to the interview about 18 years ago, an NPR given by the Holocaust survivor,
Yourself.
Elie Wiesel. You know, and Elie Wiesel said that he was angry with God. I'm not angry with God. Elie Wiesel only went through the camps for, I think, 8 or 9 months. And I was there for close to 4 years. So I'm not angry with God. God gives you a choice. The choice is not up to God. The choice is up to you. It's what you do when you're born until you die. The choice is entirely up to you. What God wants you to be good. God wants you to treat the other human being the way you want to be treated. But if you don't treat the other human being bad, or are angry at people, or you can't blame God for it. Because it's all your fault. It's not God's fault. I still believe in God. People ask me, how can you believe in God when what you went through? I mean, what horrible things you went through. God didn't help you. I said, I don't know if God helped me or not. I have no idea. I probably will never know. Maybe he did help me. How can I say he didn't? So I still believe in God. I probably don't go to synagogue as much as I should, but I still believe in God. But if I know one thing, God wants me to treat another human being the way I want to be treated. And I never have any problems. I never had any problems when I was in the service. I never had any problems when I was in the business for 40-some years. And I never have any problems now. And I think human beings are getting better as they go along. I think eventually we'll call each other brother, and we'll treat each other like we treat our own brothers. Other questions?
I have a question on sort of a different topic, almost.
Go ahead.
So, when we shared with you about this honorary doctorate, you were a little taken aback.
I am, very much so.
And so, how has the reaction been with your friends, your family? What do you think of this honor?
I mean, I heard nothing but wonderful things from them. I mean, my friends couldn't believe it. My God, why? I tell them that evidently people must like me. I don't know why. I mean, I'm doing the natural thing. I mean, I'm doing the things that I thought I wanted to do, because there was, in 1982, I read an article in the Milwaukee Journal that there was a woman in Marshville, Wisconsin, that said that the Holocaust never happened, and maybe 100,000, maybe 200,000 Jews got killed. That got me a little bit upset. Mm-hmm. And when I semi-retired in 1996, I think, there was a teacher in Brookfield Central, and my wife at that time was selling Avon, and we went to see my father in Lithuania, in Russia, and he wanted to know why we went there. And I told him that, and after he retired, he was after me to come and speak to his classes. And now my wife says nobody can shut me up, because I don't turn away one. Anytime they want me to come and speak, I don't say no, because I know it's important for me to. Maybe I'll change one person's mind, and maybe I'll make one person a little bit better. You know, that's what I like to do. You know, I mean, as long as I can speak And my friend used to come and speak with me, but now he had a couple of heart attacks. And he stopped speaking, and he said, "Well, doesn't bring back pleasant memories." And I can understand that. So I speak by myself, but I think it's important that because there are some people going around saying that the Holocaust never happened, and it's still happening now. People are still getting killed for what they believe in, for the color of the skin, and I mean, why? Why? We're all the same.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you. And you talk about making maybe one person better. I think by giving us the honor of accepting this award, you're making the Stritch community better and stronger. And we appreciate it and are honored by it.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it very much. It's more than appreciation. I don't know the words for it, but it's more than appreciation. It's from the bottom of my heart. I don't know what to say. It's an honor I never expected to get, and I'm so thankful for it. Maybe this thing will make me a better person. I don't know. I hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.